Which do you think will be the impact on the economic side of the new Italian government?
Well, I would say that there are going to be a new leader, Renzi, who is certainly young, energetic, dynamic. He wants to accelerate an important sets of economic reform are necessary to restore growth, jobs, and competitiveness. So I think that the markets are seeing positively this political change. But I think that, of course, a new government has to be formed, has to have a strong team of ministers, has to be having a clear program, and has to deliver on all the things that people are expecting. If you get a strong government with a strong leader delivers, then things are going to improve economic and financially for Italy.
What do you think about the situation in the Eurozone? Do you think that we are out of the wood or not?
Well, the worst of the Eurozone crisis has been achieved. You know, the tail risk of a breakup, of Greek exit, of Italy and Spain losing market access is much lower than a year or two ago, thanks to whatever it takes, the OMT, the ESM, the beginning of a banking union. There is less fiscal drag ahead. There is some beginning of economic growth. There is this asset quality review and the stress test for the banks. There has been some restoration of external competitiveness, but many problems remain in the Eurozone. Potential growth is low given slow structural reforms. Actual growth is going to be weak and anemic and uneven given a strong euro, a credit crunch, and high unemployment rate. Debt ratio, private and public, are still high and rising, and eventually they become unsustainable. And the restoration of external competitiveness has been only partial. And there is also austerity fatigue in the periphery, bailout fatigue in the core. The progress on the banking union is only limited. There is not yet a true fiscal, economic, and political union. And a lot of more work needs to be done in order to really make sure that the crisis is over, and not just is over, but they have strong economic growth, restoration of competitiveness, restoration of job growth, reduction of unemployment rate. So a lot of hard work needs to be done.
Where do you see the best opportunities and also the risk for the investors this year? In which sectors and which countries?
Well, I would say that in thinking of geographies and asset classes, emerging markets right now look like more difficult. There has been a correction of their currencies, bond prices, and equity markets because of the economic fragility that they face, even if now things have corrected so much that some currencies are undervalued, some equity prices are also undervalued. With economic reform, actually, a recovery of emerging market equity could occur, especially in the second half of the year. And within the emerging markets, there are some fragile countries, but there are plenty of countries that are stronger, like, you know, Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia in Asia, Mexico, Peru, Chile, Colombia in Latin America, among examples. So there are fragile countries, but are more robust. I would say bond yields in advanced economy are going to gradually rise. So you're not going to get positive returns on bonds in the US, in Europe, or in Japan and the UK, even if the increase in bond yields are going to be moderate. I would say that equity prices can rise this year globally, but probably in the US, where they rose too much and price to equity ratio are now high, the opportunities are less maybe than some parts of Europe, where the return to growth and some better policy might lead to stronger equity returns, especially as price to earnings ratio are depressed below historical averages. So I would say probably marginally overweight in global equities, marginally underweight in global bonds. Some correction in commodity prices may be still ongoing as you have a slowdown of China and you have more supply of commodities coming to the market. Might occur. I would say precious metal like gold could correct further downwards. And in terms of currencies, I would say probably the US dollar may appreciate relative to the euro and the yen, given relative growth rates and relative monetary policies. the dollar could appreciate relative to commodity currencies like the Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar, some of the emerging markets that are commodity exporters. And the dollar could also appreciate further against some of the emerging market currencies that are in a fragile economy. So in terms of currency, probably gradual strength of the US dollar ahead is likely.
Okay, thank you very much.